Serious, what are some scary, horrifying, creepy things that have happened to you or in general that could have a plausible explanation but still freak you out? I remember one time as a child, I was home on a Saturday morning. For a bit of context, back then, my mom would usually go into work on Saturday mornings and be home usually by 12 p.m. Now back to the story. I was sitting on the couch watching TV. The time started approaching 12, which meant that my mom was almost home. I very vividly remember hearing a car door close, hearing the car lock, and my mom walking into the house calling my name. When I got up to go greet her, there was no one there. Still creeps me out. A few years back, I lived with my mother and German Shepherd in a 2-bedroom rented townhome. I got home from work one day and went about my daily routine. When it came time to eat dinner, I knocked on my mom's door to come and eat. I smelled cigarette smoke and heard her grunt a response. So I went back down and ate alone. I figured I would just put a plate away for her. Fast forward to about 2 a.m. I'm awoken by someone holding my hand and gently shaking it. I immediately shoot straight up and look around. My dog, who is overly protective and sleeps with me every single night, isn't in bed. She isn't even in the room. She most definitely was on my bed when I went to sleep. I sleep with the bedroom door shut and locked. She is scratching at my closed and locked bedroom door from the hallway. Frantic, I bolt for the door, let her in, and she is searching the whole room. I'm now yelling for my mother. No answer. I force my dog to walk down the hallway with me. I still smell cigarette smoke. I bang on my mom's door. No answer. So I just open it. She isn't even home. The bed is made and her TV is off. My dog and I search the whole entire house. Nothing is out of place. All the doors and windows are still locked. I was freaked out to say the least. The next day I called my mom and she told me she left early the day before to go visit my sick grandfather. I was reading the ARS Gosha to get inspiration for a short story I wanted to write. Shortly after, I started hearing this jingle from my bedroom window in the middle of the night. There was nothing in the backyard or neighbors' houses that could have caused it, not even a wind chime. Then I woke up one morning and my grandpa's painting was upside down. Several days later, the knives were all the wrong way in the holder. Then the garbage can was backwards. And that kept going on and on and on. Most of it got explained. Turns out there was an archdiocese really close to our house and the bells in the tower would go off if the wind was just right. And my SO knows I like creepy things, so he did most of the turning household items backwards and came clean when I started getting scared instead of just having fun with it. Only thing that has no explanation is my grandpa's painting. My reaction with the painting is what made my SO decide to run with it, but he did not turn it upside down. My friend asked me if I would go to her house after work and feed her dog, as she would not be home until 3 a.m. or so. She worked in a bar. I arrived at her house at 8:30 p.m. and got the key she had left under the mat to unlock the door. Once I unlocked the door, I turned off the alarm and put the key in a white bowl by the door. I'm 100% sure I put the key in the bowl. I fed the dog and played with him for a little, while then went to lock up the house again and leave, but the key was gone. Just then the dog started furiously barking and ran full speed out of the kitchen and up the stairs. He just sat there growling at nothing. The feeling that came over me at that time was so strange. I randomly burst out crying and couldn't stop. Eventually I calmed down, put the dog back into the kitchen, and looked for the key. It was literally nowhere. I ended up finding another key that worked, so I just locked the house and left. I told my friend and she looked daily for about a week. Then one day, the key was back in the white bowl. When I was younger, my mom, my grandma and I liked to go to this little Frau tea shop that was about 40 miles from our home. It was a cute little place where you could get the classic tea and sandwiches and cute little desserts and all. One time we went, all was normal, but on the way home we received a call that my other grandma had passed away. Very sad, but as she had been battling cancer, not exactly unexpected. The next time we went, a few months later, on the way home we received a call that my uncle had died suddenly of a heart attack. Creepy coincidence for sure, but we still did not think too much of it at the time. We went back a third time a few months after that, and for the third time on the way home, we received the phone call that someone had died. This time it was my grandpa's brother. We never went back to that tea shop again. Now all of these people were elderly and not exactly in the best of health, so them passing away around the same time was not exactly creepy. But the fact that 3 separate times that we went to this place, 3 people died the same day and we received the calls on the way home, makes me think something about that place was cursed. It has since closed, but I'm still nervous to even go to that area to this day. I used to have a penchant for wandering around abandoned buildings when I was in high school. One time a friend and I decided it would be a good idea to explore a farmstead that hadn't been in use for years. The whole experience was really bizarre. The farmstead was accessible by a long gravel road that brought you to a cluster of dilapidated buildings around a central barn. We parked at the end of the gravel road near the turnoff to the main road, so we could walk around the property and just pull out quickly later. We went into the barn first and there were deer bones arranged in a circle around the skull, and a bunch of blankets and wood stacked in a corner of the room. We thought it was really cultish and weird, noped out, and started walking back to the car. Halfway down the gravel road we heard crunching, heavy footsteps and someone screeching behind us. Blood-curdling screeching. We sprinted back to my car and tried to peel out of there as fast as possible, but it had snowed the night prior and my back tire was stuck in a puddle of melted snow. My friend was screaming because she was so freaked out, but wouldn't turn to look at the path behind us. By the time I had gotten the car unstuck, she turned around to see if there was someone following us, and there was no one there. I could have been a bird or something, but we both swear up and down to this day that someone was following us. I actually thought I was going to die that day. So, this is going on as we speak, but let's take you back a couple of months to when this all started. One nice warm day, end of August, early September, I go outside and find this little ball of fur/feather/hair and a dangling earring hooked in on my porch. Weird, I thought. I brought it up to my husband and said that there was some weird juju crap on our porch, and it freaked me out. I was not touching it, but it needed to go. He suggested that it was a nice gift from the tomcat next door, or something that our dog dragged home. My dog has never done that before, but hey, a way more logical reason than someone leaving weird juju shit on our porch. Cool. Then last week, this fully intact lower mandible bone of a white-tailed deer shows up on our porch in the exact same place as where the hair/feather/fur ball was placed. Again, I ask my husband about it, and he says that the dog must have brought it with him. Again, something that he's never done but logical. I still wasn't going to touch it. The weird fur/feather/earring ball was still fresh in my mind, and if someone was leaving weird crap on the porch I wasn't going to touch it. Thanks for taking that danger on, hon. It stayed on the porch for a while. Yesterday, I was studying, facing my front door. Around lunchtime, my dog starts freaking out, and I look up, and there's this older, disheveled looking lady, I think, on our porch, who I had never seen before, walking toward our front door. She leaves something on the bench we have out there, and turns around and walks away. After a beat, I get up to grab whatever pamphlet she left on our porch. Except, she didn't leave a pamphlet. She came onto our porch, took the lower mandible bone, and moved it onto the bench. Right in the middle of 2 posts of the porch fence, right in line with a bright ray of sunshine. So, now I'm pretty convinced that there is someone leaving weird crap on our porch, and here's hoping we are not cursed. You ever used one of those sleep apps that records noise while you're sleeping? It's supposed to be so you can hear if you're snoring or talking or whatever. I'm having a hard time sleeping right now, so I turned it on. 3 AM, there's a load of footsteps sounds, and sounds like doors and drawers opening and closing. I can hear myself moan close to the phone from time to time, like I'm dreaming, but there's not any noise of rustling bed sheets to explain sleepwalking or anything. I have a large velvety rug in my bedroom, so there shouldn't be footsteps. Realistically, I have a metal bed frame, so the clicking and knocking sounds are probably the bed frame shifting when I move, but it sounds really like other things. I'm not recording at night anymore. Context: my grandfather was a truck driver and taught me everything I know about driving, especially in snow. I used to work at a drugstore and one night I was closing another store in our chain and we had a snow squall that unexpectedly dropped a few inches of snow in our area. I wasn't very familiar with the area and I had my mum's car, so I wasn't used to the car either. The snow was still coming down and I couldn't see, so I was creeping home and panicking as I saw cars spinning out all around me. All of a sudden, I saw a light in my passenger side view mirror and I turned my head and sitting in the passenger seat, plain as day, I saw my dead grandfather. I heard him say he knew that I wasn't freaked out by a little snow, and then I heard his voice rattling off all the things he taught me about driving in the snow. I looked back towards the road and then he was gone. It was a calming experience when I saw him. It was more okay, Pop's here, I'm okay, instead of OMG you're supposed to be dead WTF, and I stopped panicking and got home without a problem. It was most likely just my brain / eyes / whatever playing tricks on me to get me to stop panicking, but to this day it still freaks me out.